all know a guy who only occasionally shaves for big occasions, and it's because that occasional shave really hurts. It's the time of year for big occasions, and yet there he is, suffering with that cheap drugstore razor. Let's help him out. Henson Shaving's line of razors, built with aerospace precision, deliver a smooth shave your dad, brother, and even son can enjoy, eventually. With replacement blades just 10 cents each, you'll buy it once and they'll use it for life. How's that for the perfect gift? Celebrate with 100 free blades on your first purchase, and no subscription headaches. HensonShaving.com/holiday.
J360 Radio.
Hello, J360 Legion, and welcome to a J360 Mini Bite, hosted by J.M. Brady, and I'm your host, J.M. Brady. So let's get into it. What's going on, y'all? New week, right? Got a lot of interesting things to get into, and not only that, November is bye-bye, so that only means 30 more days until we can shoo this year out. And I'll tell you one thing, though, I'm a little, actually, during Christmas time, I usually think, I can't believe it's here, and then when I start getting used to it being here, it goes away. This time, I'm catching it early. Matter of fact, what I'm going to try to do for you guys, you know the Monster Fest, right? Well, it always had a little cousin to it called the Holiday Fest. Or it used to be the Christmas Bash, and then all of a sudden we had to get, what's the term PC with people? Because, what about my holiday, Jay? Yeah, up yours too, pal. Nah. Well, see, I was thinking about it, and I figured, hey, why not? Let's just go ahead and do the event. So that next event will start next week, and it'll be called the J360 Holiday Fest. And you know something? We'll have all the shows involved in it. Yep! From J360 Mini Bites all the way to the Power Play. And that also includes J360 Jams, which, by the way, it's Jams Week! Ha ha! Yes! Episode 12 will be landing Friday. And then you see the J-Man show is happening tomorrow. And then, of course, you're getting your Mini Bites fix right now. So, yes, things are going to be interesting. And by the way, on Thanksgiving, I managed to see, one of these content creators out there. I like to consider us all family, but there are certain limbs from the tree that need to be cut. This particular toxic individual decided to say, America was made on stolen land, and Thanksgiving doesn't matter. I looked at her and I was like, you got 2 kids, you live in America, and you profit well in America. The hell are you even talking about? And I hate to throw somebody's thing like that, but you see, the issue about that is, at the end of the day, all these things have negative connotations to them. All these holidays, like Valentine's, the Saint of Valentine's Day, Saint Valentine's, if you will, there was a massacre that happened on his day, and not only that, he got beheaded. But don't worry, though. There's still a bunch of people out there that think, one way or another, they're entitled to go out to dinner, get an engagement ring, and, of course, chocolates and all that stuff. Yeah. It's very interesting how, people will go on this. Or, some people that are so religious, they won't celebrate Christmas because, the Lord's Day wasn't on the 25th. And I'm sitting there thinking this. I'm like, you know what? Yeah. One way or another, you can't please everybody all the time. And truth be told, when we have these little traditions, what about the positives of it? What about meeting people, gathering around, celebrating, and enjoying yourself? Having a good time. Making things worth living. But some people just like to control and dictate stuff and say, we shouldn't have these things because yada, yada, yada. Shut up. I like looking at it this way. Whenever we have these holidays come around, these are like parties. These are times to actually say, it's the end of the year. Why don't I just enjoy myself? Why don't I just go ahead and be sociable? Or, even better, host an event where everybody's invited, except for sourpusses like that. And just go ahead and light it up. Give it that one big hurrah. Which, by the way, I do have a big event happening for New Year's Eve. If a lot of y'all don't go out or whatever, I'm going to be sitting back. It'll probably be 2 hours or so. And we'll shift it up on how we usually do things. It's going to be different. It's a big plan. And it's one of those plans that, once again, I'm being very, very experimental behind. So that's why I haven't really pitched it around. But it's definitely on the 31st. And I think throughout the Holiday Fest, I'll let you know what that particular event's going to be. But it's definitely New Year's Eve, and it's definitely going to be fun. And not only that, I'd like to see if I can have some of my content creator friends out there be willing to help if they'd like to. That'd be kind of nice. And you know what? It could be the one week where I don't do the J-Man show. Right. Not on your life, folks. I'm sorry. The J-Man show is just not going anywhere. It's not going to be canceled. It's not going to be cut off. It'll transition into other things if need be. But there is no moment where I'm not doing the J-Man show. And then that'll let you know. If I'm not doing the J-Man show that week, something's going down, or, I have to handle something else. But more or less, I just sit here and I look at around and I'm like, we made it, y'all. It's December. We made it. You, me, or anybody else that didn't succumb to the disease or didn't just completely fall in a hole somewhere or whatever, we made it. And it was a crazy tour, wasn't it? We went around the sun almost we almost around the sun entirely, but my God, the stuff we went through to get here. Oh, man. And I want to say R.I.P. to David Prowse. And much respect to you, sir. You had a phenomenal career in movies and all. Not to mention in the sports world as a bodybuilder. That guy was built, man. If you look back in the day and you see what he's done, I mean, the guy was awesome. I'm not going to speak about the controversy, regarding his most iconic role and all that stuff. You guys can look that up on your own. But speaking of which, though, I might watch Star Wars again. Sit back and just chill out watching, the 6 films of The Mandalorian. You can do whatever you want with the sequel trilogy. I don't really care. But you know what? It's funny, though, because you got some people out here nowadays, they're still barking, hating, and all this other stuff. One way or another, I feel for that franchise. I feel for that franchise as much as I feel for any of the superhero properties out here. You know why? Because whenever something new comes into Star Wars, people will overwhelmingly throw their venom around. They will hate this damn thing. It didn't even have a chance to be born, but they will hate on it. Whereas with The Mandalorian, they've been actually pretty open to that, But when you get right down to thinking the anthology franchises they had there for a little bit, or even the, the sequel trilogy. But the sequel trilogy was going off the rails well after the 7th movie. And the 7th movie, even though, hush, 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 and all that kind of stuff, it kind of felt like all 3 given back to you. And wouldn't you kind of want that, though, as a fan, if you think about it? Because basically the movies have, for some people, that's like their first experience of Star Wars. Some people didn't watch the other ones, but they watched that one. So maybe that's something for them. Or maybe it's just, when you try to take a franchise and you try to satisfy the old fans and the new fans, that's usually the ongoing thing. You try to satisfy them, but you got the old fans that are turned off because there's new stuff coming, and the new stuff overrides everything that they knew about it. So they're afraid to be compatible with it. Kind of like that episode of Futurama where Bender was afraid of the new model because he didn't want to update himself so he could be part of that. It is weird, And then what really gets me, and this is all I shouldn't say fandoms, I should say fandoms, because fandom does this stuff. Fandoms in general go about trying to tease or test each other on their knowledge and all that. Give it a rest, man. It don't benefit anything. It'd be something if you were actually in a UN meeting and you had to go ahead and present something as moronic and as stupid as that. Talk about, this is what I feel about it, blah, 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 blah. No, the hell with your opinion. Your opinion doesn't matter. My opinion overrules all because I read the books. Or no, actually, I can contest to that, young man. I read the comics. Oh, yeah? Yeah. I got the audio tapes. Yeah, well, you're all out of... I got the laser disc. And while it's an all-out meta battle, you'll sit there and think this. Well, at least the Star Trek fans don't do that. Oh, my God. They're still arguing about Discovery and Picard. Damn. Yeah, there's certain things you cannot run to. This stuff happens. And it's all over the damn place. And then you just look at it and you just shake your head and it's like, you know what? I think I'll just be a fan in secret. Well, I don't know. See, I don't get that kind of liberty due to me being who I am. And not only that, as I keep making these series and the awareness and the growth just keeps coming in, I don't get that kind of liberty. So that's why I got this lightsaber here on the side. Just like, you know what? You want to have some fun? Let's do this then. Come on now. No, Jay, I'm using the Force. Yeah, the Force won't save you now. It works when it wants to, you punk. If anything, the Force is like the biggest troll in the whole franchise. Like, you know, I used to work with somebody, a young kid. He knew what he was talking about from time to time. But when it came to Star Wars, like, you see, like, the argument that he has, and then you realize arguments with himself, because there are times where he talks about, I don't like how fan servicey it is. I'm like, but that's every franchise, though. Not even Star Wars. I mean, like, it's every single franchise that's fan servicey. You need something to bring the old fanboys in, and you need something to bring in the other fan people, and then tie it all together. Just like that part from Rogue One where Vader came in, he ignited his red lightsaber, and he went to town on all those rebel soldiers. Things like that. Of course, you know, I still don't understand people's problems with these movies from time to time. You know, especially when it gets right down to the prequels. Hell, if there's one thing about the sequel trilogy, it made the prequels look good. I'll always stand by that. But I never had a problem with them either. Never did. I mean, we could go ahead on, like, you know, the series is flawed, but hey, guess what? A lot of the great movies that we treasure and hold dear, they're flawed. Welcome to the real world, huh? Got a little taste of the red pill. You're not a part of the Matrix anymore. I should have that clip where Morpheus says, welcome to the real world, but I'll save that for, like, when something real serious happens, like when we're in 2021. Yes, that's what I said. But yeah, I got all sorts of hopes and optimism for the future, y'all. And it's going to be pretty nice. I mean, like, one way or another, we'll get through these troubled times and all, but I'm feeling really inspired about bringing some more stuff to you. Like, especially with J360 TV on the rise. I went back and I found the YouTube channel. My God, I left that thing in disarray. I was like, oh, I don't like this at all. Because it's not what I stand by, you know. I have pride in my work. So I'm working on cleaning that up for you. As a matter of fact, that took over all of Maintenance Monday, so I did not think otherwise about, like, how destitute that thing looked. And I was like, gee, this is supposed to work in tandem with the Twitch channel. And I'm like, not this way it isn't. So it's getting pumped back up, and soon enough the power play will be on it again, and then all sorts of other video sketches that I can do for y'all, because I do have the notes, so everything's coming together like it's supposed to. And I was just sitting there thinking, I was like, I can't let it be this way. Like, I have my problems with YouTube, mind you. I don't like the way they're doing things. I don't like their whole sort of, oh yeah, we'll throw ads on demonetized channels so that we can make a little extra bread. Things like that, you know, whereas they're not making it easier for creators to be monetized, and some of us are trying to get where we can with Patreon. Matter of fact, that's why I've kind of paced my ground on that a little bit, because I'm sitting there doing R&D, and I'm like, you know, is this the right time? And you know something? It may just be. So I went ahead and I took some of the Mini Bites episode. Well, no, not some. I took all of them over there. They should be popping up soon enough. If the dates seem kind of off to you, well, you know, that's because that's the way YouTube works itself. Like, this particular episode will go over to YouTube as well. It won't be available yet, but I'm sure by the end of the week, everything's going to be all together the way I want it to. I'm just sitting right there looking at this stuff, shaking my head, and then seeing, like, how all these other content creators are going, and YouTube is still a pretty wretched hive. But, you know, one way or another, I'm glad I have it. J360productions.com is open for those of you that actually want to keep in contact with what I do and all the stuff that comes up. You know, you can follow it, subscribe to it, put it on a WordPress reader, whatever you want to do. But if you want to take a look at the content that I make and where it usually ends up at, it's over there. Or like, say, like if I'm working on something, if you guys really want to follow the radio shows in real time, I suggest go to Spreaker.com/J360radio. And that'll help me out with that as well. You know, like, if anything else, because I always do the shows live now. So, yeah, isn't that something? It's only been, well, let's see, the J-Man show's only been on the air for 5 years, and truth be told, you're just now knowing that I do the shows live. Isn't that cute? Yeah, a lot of people have been asking me, like, oh, where do we find you? Where do we find you? Well, here's the thing. Put in J360 Radio, and all my shows pop up. And I own it. So, That's all y'all got to do. One way or another, we're going to make the growth expand. That's where we're going to put it. Like, I usually have the right words in my head, but man, when I get right on here sometimes, got other things I want to do and other things to talk about. And then like there are other times where it's like, let's just have some fun. But that's not what the mini bites entirely are all about. It's just letting you know what's happening and where we go from here. The J-Man Show is happening tomorrow. J360 Jams is happening Friday night at 10 p.m. Eastern. Well, actually, all the shows are 10 p.m. Eastern now, to make it easier for those that want to catch this live. Okay? But let me get on out of here, though. I'm a little over time. This is J-Man signing off. Peace.
We all know a guy who only occasionally shaves for big occasions, and it's because that occasional shave really hurts. It's the time of year for big occasions, and yet there he is, suffering with that cheap drugstore razor. Let's help him out. Henson Shaving's line of razors, built with aerospace precision, deliver a smooth shave your dad, brother, and even son can enjoy, eventually. With replacement blades just 10 cents each, you'll buy it once, and they'll use it for life. How's that for the perfect gift? Celebrate with 100 free blades on your first purchase, and no subscription headaches. HensonShaving.com/holiday.